guys, today I'm back with an Oily Skin Diaries foundation review. Today it is all about the latest foundation from Dior. It is the Dior Face and Body Foundation, or the Dior Backstage collection. It came out with that entire collection. I did use this recently in a get ready with me with a different brush. Today I'm going to use a sponge, so I will link that down below along with some blog posts swatching this next to other foundations and other Dior foundations if you're trying to match yourself, along with other Oily Skin Diaries videos. And then there will also be timestamps down below if you want to skip ahead to before and after, flash photo, all that good stuff. And if you enjoy oily skin foundation reviews, be sure to subscribe because I have plenty more coming. But let's go ahead and get started. So the Dior Backstage Face and Body Foundation launched about a month and a half ago, and I feel like a lot of the time people are either Dior shoppers or they're not Dior shoppers. And for some reason this seemed to break barriers, and maybe that's just my observation, but I had so many requests for this, and it was a little bit surprising for me because Dior is definitely a luxury product. It is high-end. But people were really curious about this. It has a really wide shade range, which is super exciting to see. And Dior has always had a decent shade range for some of their foundations, obviously room to grow. So I'm glad that that growth has happened. It retails for $40 American, $50 Canadian. But the most interesting part about this is that you're getting 1.6 fluid ounces of foundation in here. So anybody who tells you that this bottle is tiny, be sure to take a look at the actual amount of product in here. I've said this before because packaging can be so incredibly deceiving. And the reason I bring this up is not only is it nice, travel-friendly, compact, I really enjoy the packaging, but you're getting 1.6 fluid ounces in here versus, say, this Becca foundation has 1 fluid ounce. So you're getting over 50% more foundation in this than the average foundation size. So yes, it is $50 Canadian, $40 American, but that actually seems to be on the lower price side for Dior. And when you compare it to other high-end brands and the fact that you're getting actually lots of product in here, I think that that's super exciting. In addition to that, I feel like it's not a super lightweight product, something like a MAC Face and Body. I haven't used that in years, but I wouldn't really compare it to that because that was so light that you really could kind of put it all over your body. For me, that I wouldn't put this on my body, but maybe if you are a makeup artist or something of the sort. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on I'm going to put primer on half of my face. I will apply the foundation over the entirety of my face. In addition to that, I have reviewed the Dior Air Flash and the Dior Undercover Forever foundation, and I still have the regular Forever. So if you'd like to see that in action, let me know. But I'm going to bring you in just a little bit closer, and we'll go ahead and get into application. So it recommends to shake the bottle, and it's quite thick, but I like to just give it a little beat on the back of my hand, on the front of my hand. This is not my first time using this. I have used this quite a few times now. I wanted to make sure I had all of my opinions solidified before I showed it to you. I did prime this half of my face, and I am using a sponge. I used their kind of Air Flash brush in my most recent Get Ready With Me, but I have been kind of a sponge gal as of late, which of course is going to affect the coverage. And as I've said time and time again, coverage, not only is it a subjective thing, you know, based on your opinion, what you've tried, it also has a lot to do with your skin. So, you know, what adheres to your skin well? Do you have a lot of breakouts? What are you trying to cover? That's going to affect whether or not you feel it's full coverage or medium coverage or light coverage on you. So I've really been enjoying a more medium natural foundation, and of course I find this quite buildable. So depending on how much you put on, like I could kind of just leave it here. That's my cat, evens out the skin tone a little bit, and or you can kind of build it up a little bit. So it does claim to be medium coverage. It says it's good for sensitive, normal, dry, combination, and oily skin. I like to build it up just in my trouble areas. So I've got a breakout here. I'm using the shade 4N, which is for neutral. I haven't used any of the other shades or seen them in person, so I can't speak to, you know, if this is the absolute best shade for me, but I always recommend, if you can, get a sample. I'm kind of just letting this sit on my skin here just to ensure better coverage. Get a sample if you can, or if you do purchase it from Sephora and you regret your shade, you can always return it as well, even if it has been opened and used. So keep that in mind. But if you want to use a denser brush, that will also build coverage. But I'm back in the sponge game. I really hated them for a while. I don't know, I'm either a sponge or brush. There's no there's no in between for me. So it's a sponge year. Year of the sponge. So as you can see, I feel like that did a pretty good job. I've got like 2 more or less kind of cystic breakouts, delightful here, and those are really intense, quite hard to cover up, and I'm not looking to like make them completely disappear because obviously they're, you know, they're literal bumps, but I'm just gonna add a little bit more on each of them individually and kind of pat them out. And it claims to be a matte coverage, but a natural matte, which seems to be the way of foundations at the moment. And says it's sweat proof, waterproof, long wearing, but I'm just gonna build it up to here. And I said this before, but the more you build up a foundation, or sorry, the more you build up a foundation, the more oily I find my skin gets. I'm gonna leave that here. See the difference. Just gonna do the same over here. This side is less problematic, and on the website, on the Sephora website, it gives instructions for application for light, medium, and full, and it's kind of like what you would expect. But light, it says apply with your fingers. Medium, it says to, what did it say? Rue. Oh, apply with a foundation brush inwards to from the inner side of the face to the out, and then for full, just continue to build it up with a dense brush. I would say for best medium coverage, I really like a sponge, but that's all personal preference. So as you can see, I think it really holds up to that natural matte medium coverage claim when I apply it with the sponge, build a little bit in the places where I have concerns, and I think that this shade match is pretty good. Definitely for my coloring right now, once I get concealer on and everything, I think it looks good, but I do still have some color from a recent tropical vacation, so moving into the winter, I don't know that this is going to be the best shade for me, but right now I do think it is good. It feels really comfortable, really lightweight on the skin. It looks lightweight as well. Let me get up close. I turned my lights down here and got real up close so you can get a better look, but I think it looks quite good. I mean, I do have breakouts and stuff, you know, such as life, but I think it looks really good. It doesn't look heavy, cakey, looks like skin. I think you could get away with a really light layer of this and like nothing else on your face if you just wanted like something quick. It hasn't set down like completely matte on my face, but I will be setting it anyways, and I will go put on the rest of my makeup. As always, everything I'm wearing will be listed down below, and what was I gonna say? Oh, and I'm also gonna take a flash photo test to see how it performs, so I will be right back. And we're back. I've got my full face of makeup on now, and I took some flash photos, so I thought we would chat about how that looked in the studio lighting that I have here. This is with no concealer, nothing, just the foundation on my face. I thought it looked excellent, looks super natural. I like that you can still see my freckles. It looks, as I said, like skin. And then in flash photo, I actually thought it performed really well as well. From what I can tell, there are no claims of SPF, but I know sometimes that can vary country to country. I think Canada has very strict laws surrounding when you can say something has SPF, but either way, I thought it performed very well, and I took that photo in my like windowless hallway that I have, and I really love the way that this foundation looks. So I'm gonna go ahead and wear this for the entire day. Of course, I will check back with you midway through in some natural light so you can see how it looks as well, and yeah, I'll see you in a couple hours. Hello, it has been a couple hours now checking in with Rue. I just actually got in the door. I had an event this morning at 9 a.m. so I walked to that event and back, which is about an hour and 10 minutes or so of walking, and it's still actually quite warm here in Toronto. So I got sweaty. I was sweaty before I went in, so I had to blot my face before I went into the event because not only am I oily, but I'm sweaty. Like my face just sweats. So just got in the door with my sweat face. It's actually not too bad. I'll let you up close. We're good friends. You can see an up close of my sweat face, but I figured I might as well blot here with you. It's not even that I'm oily, it's literally just sweat, and I'm just using a paper towel. But I did blot earlier, as I mentioned, and I get a little bit coming off on the paper towel, but I don't notice it coming off on my face, which is the most important thing to me. I don't find anything to be 100% transfer proof because you have bronzer, you have blush, you might have a powder over it. All of those factors kind of determine it. What matters to me is, does it stay looking good on my face, essentially. So as you can see, I think the color match looks really, really good. Oh, I just realized I'm filming this on a different camera. Hopefully the quality is just as good. But anyways, I really love the way that it looks. Things are still looking good. It's about almost 5 hours in now, I think. So I'm going to continue wearing it for a few more hours, and I will check back in with you this evening. It's the end of the evening. My house romper or check-in romper is on. This is something you've probably become familiar with if you watch my vlogs or foundation reviews. I wear this most days. But anyways, we are here at the end of the day, and I think things look really great. Not gonna lie, I took a little nap. I know you're not supposed to nap in your makeup, but it's that time of the month. My uterus took over, okay? I'm not running the show here anymore. Had to close my eyes for a minute, but that being said, things look really, really good. I do have a little bit of shininess, so I'm going to blot again with a paper towel. I did lose a little bit of foundation around here where I was wearing sunglasses and out and sweating earlier, but it's not like patchy or anything like that. I don't think it looks bad, and it's kind of expected. I didn't really do anything to prevent that either. I don't have any issues with oxidization. It has not moved around. I think blush, bronzer, highlight, everything is still in place. Primed versus unprimed, I've worn it with and without primer, and I find that it definitely does not need a primer. I feel like that's such a personal thing. It kind of depends how much work I'm looking to put into my makeup that day, whether or not I prime. But overall, I really, really enjoy this foundation. I'm gonna have to get another shade, I think, for the winter time, as I mentioned. But as you saw in natural light, I thought it looked like a really, really good shade for me. And there was something else I wanted to say. Oh, in comparing it to the other Dior foundations that I've tried, this one is definitely in the middle for coverage. I think it does have that natural matte finish, and the Air Flash is a little bit light, can be a little bit lighter coverage, building it up to closer to medium. The Forever Undercover is a more full coverage, but they're all really, really great foundations. I haven't actually worn the Forever Undercover in a little while, but in general, I really do kind of like all of them, even though they definitely are high end. I haven't played around a lot with a lot of luxury makeup. A lot of those brands don't really make shades for me, so I appreciate that Dior does have a shade for me, and I find their complexion products to be really, really nice. So overall, I definitely recommend this foundation if you are curious. I know there were some of you who have been waiting a long time for me to review this, but I wanted to make sure that I actually could review it and not just pop it on my face for 5 minutes and say that it looked good. So overall, my time spent with this foundation has been good. I definitely plan to continue wearing it. I love the packaging. I love that it comes with tons of product in there, and I love the finish on my skin and the way it lasts as well, and the way it feels. It doesn't feel heavy or cakey by any means, and I love this kind of like natural matte thing that's happening in the foundation world right now. If you have dry skin, I think you could potentially still like this. Let me know down below your skin type, if you've tried this, how it worked for you, because that will help people, of course, decide if they want to pick it up for themselves. A normal skin type, I think you'll like this as well, normal combo. It's always hard for me to estimate on dry, but I didn't feel like it's a super tight matte foundation. You may just not want to set it, perhaps. So thank you so much for watching. Be sure to let me know what foundation you would like to see reviewed next, and if you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at SamanthaJaneYT, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!